Hey guys, welcome back. I'm your trainer Tommy Ribs. We are here once again in the beautiful country of Portugal. Today we have a growth day, just like we've done earlier this week. So 5 minutes, easy warm up, then we're gonna go into a series of 1 minute of running followed by 1 minute of easy walking. 5-minute warm up, let's get started guys. All right, so just like previously this week, we are again on the southwestern tip of Portugal. We're working our way along this coastline out to a point that's known as Cabo Sardão. S-A-R-D-A-O. So Sardão is pronounced similar to the word bom. When I talked about that the last time, when I introduced good morning, let's see really quick if you can remember that expression. In Portuguese, good morning or good day is bom dia. Remember that the M in the bom we don't pronounce like an M we would in English. It goes into a nasal end. So bom, the same with the Cabo Sardão, D-A-O, with the accent, that squiggly accent that we have there at the end, that tells us that we're going to have a similar ending. So it's going to go into a nasal sound at the end. If you've seen on a map or you're familiar with locations like the largest city in Brazil, São Paulo, S-A-O, that's not pronounced Sao like some people would say. It's actually pronounced São. So it goes into a nasally end. So São Paulo, Santiago. Santiago is the Brazilian, or rather the Portuguese equivalent of Santiago or Saint James. So we're headed towards Cabo Sardão. Sardão is actually a type of lizard that's found here on the area. The reason it has that name is because there's lizards here, this specific type of lizard here on this coastline. Sardão is actually a type of, if we want to get specific about it, it's actually called a jeweled wall lizard. They're bright green, they have black spots. They're differentiated from what's known as a common wall lizard, or even a basic wall lizard. The reason it's called basic is because they wear sweatpants and Uggs and are unadventurous in their wine choices. That's not true, that was a joke. The reason they're called basic is because they're gray, actually, in contrast to the jeweled bright green wall lizards. So we'll keep an eye out for them. It's a little bit cloudy today. We're probably not going to see them. If you remember, reptiles are cold-blooded, so they rely on the ambient temperatures to raise their internal temperature. So on days like this that are cold, they try to stay warm or burrow down under rocks. Okay guys, we got about 2 more minutes in this warm-up. Nice, easy 5-minute walk, allowing our heart rate to increase. We're gonna walk as close and as safely as we can to the edges here. Do you guys remember this plant? This plant that takes up a lot of space here? Remember, this is called chorão. So the exact same ending, A-O. Remember when we were talking about cats last time? And I explained to you guys the affectionate diminutive. In Portuguese, that's inho or inha. Well, the affectionate augmentive, so to make something big, is to add AO. Just like São, just like Sardão, just like chorão. So chorão is basically a chorão is a crybaby. If you wanted to call a person a chorão or a chorona, that would essentially mean they're a big crybaby. So you use that as an affectionate augmentive. So those are all over the place. We're going to be walking through a lot of those. Again, those are an invasive species, so we've been assured by the locals that it's not something we want to worry about. Obviously, we want to be careful and considerate all the time, but... Okay guys, we got about 15 more seconds, and then we're going to go into 1 minute of running, followed by 1 minute of walking. Again, this is another growth workout we have for this week. We are gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go, guys. So this is an area which is absolutely full of different types of wildlife. These cliffs, they provide a perfect scenario for this vibrant ecosystem. It's the connection of land and sea. So in situations like this, you find really interesting combinations of animals. Creatures that live off of the sea, but also live off of things that we find here on the ground. One of these creatures that we'll find, 20 more seconds, nice and careful, we're gonna work our way up this trail. One of the creatures that we'll find in this area is the stork. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Back to a walk, guys. So storks, you can see we might be able to have a chance to see some of the nests that they build on these cliffs. Storks are absolutely incredible animals, and these nests are giant compared to typical nests. The reason they're so big is because storks, you've probably heard stories about storks being so big that they deliver the babies. Probably heard that story before. So the reason that their nests are so big is because storks are monogamous. That means they mate for life. And so the nest that they build has to be big enough to accommodate a male stork and a female stork and a baby human. That last part's not true. Okay guys, we're gonna go 3, 2, 1 into our next 1 minute run. Nice and careful along the edges here. Working our way up to Cabo Sardão. All right, 35 more seconds. Here we go, guys. All right, we're gonna be really careful here on this edge. Whoo! Don't get dead. 15 more seconds. So these plants right here, this is the exact same chorão plant that we were talking about. That succulent, it's green. Up a little higher here by the edge, it turns yellow and even red in some places. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Back down to a walk. Whew. We're gonna find this safer trail. Here we go. All right. So we're gonna work our way out onto this point. Let's see what we can find. Try and take in some of these views. Guys, this rock, I've talked about this a little bit before. This is shale. So shale is formed as layers of mud and layers of clay stack up on top of each other and are compressed. Because they're somewhat fluid, they can move around as there's geological activity. So we can see some of that. Just real quick, I'm gonna pause that. Go ahead and look out there on that edge, guys. This is absolutely stunning. We've got one of those nests to the storks that I talked about right there, so you can see how big that is. Guys, we're gonna start our run again in 3, 2, 1. Let's really carefully navigate our way back out this little point we were on. There we go. Nice and easy, working back up this slight incline. So this area, because there's such great humidity from it being right up against the coast, as well as where we're situated, the latitude here on the globe, the climate here is very mild. That allows for this area to have lots of different amphibians as well as reptiles. So the ecosystem out here, it's vibrant, but it's also delicate. 10 more seconds, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So out here, we'll find these lizards. Obviously, that cape is named after that sardine lizard. There's even snakes. There's a snake known as a common rat snake. I'd be offended if they use the adjective common to describe me, but we got common rat snakes, we got comic, or we got basic wall lizards. These rat snakes can actually grow up to 6 feet long, and they actually don't feed off of rats, at least not in this area. They feed off of lizards and other small amphibians. So there are also newts. There are speckled newts. These newts are absolutely incredible. They find their way back to their ponds by navigating using the stars. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. One more minute of running, guys. Literally, just like mariners and explorers of old times, these newts use the stars to find their way back to their homes, these little ponds that they live in. All right, breathe nice and easy, guys. Keep those arms relaxed. We're gonna keep working our way along this edge. 30 more seconds, right around there. Taking in those views. Ten more seconds. Here we go, guys. Nice and easy. Big jump. All right. 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right. We've had a chance for our heart to warm up, to get our blood pumping. As I mentioned before, what this does is it allows parts of this to get easier as we get more fatigued. So remember, if this feels like you may not be able to make it to the end, don't look at this on a linear progression. By that I mean, don't think, oh, just because it hurts so bad, 4 or 5 minutes into this, that it's gonna hurt even worse as we continue. There are multiple components that make up how our effort is assessed by our bodies. So just remember, in the beginning, things are difficult because our bodies are cold. We haven't had a chance to have the blood start to flow. We have to adjust, and our bodies have to transition to this new level of activity. 3, 2, 1, here we go, guys. But as we transition and our blood begins to pump, our heart is able to pump easier. As I mentioned before, our blood vessels expand. All right, so just settle into this. Try and be as comfortable as you can running for this 1 minute. If this is difficult, guys, that's the idea. We're trying to ease into this, but this is a growth session. So what seemed basic and easy before, we're gonna build upon that, and then that will become our new level of fitness, new expectation that we have. Nice and easy, guys. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And back down to a walk. Here we go, guys. Guys, another bird that we might find in this area that lives along these cliffs is actually a peregrine falcon. So a peregrine falcon is the fastest bird in the entire world. It's also one of the most widespread birds in the entire world. The reason it's called a peregrine falcon, peregrine in Latin, is It actually means wanderer. We're gonna wander up this way just a little bit, out onto this point, taking one of these views. So peregrine in Portuguese is actually peregrino. So we can see that Latin root. Peregrino means wanderer or somebody who migrates. So the peregrine falcon migrates all the way from places almost to the Arctic, the subarctic, down into areas that are considered Arctic on the southern hemisphere. So from north to south. Guys, we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. We went a little bit long on that recovery. I want you guys just to be able to take in these views, but I want to make sure it's safe as we do it. So nice and easy jog, working our way up this trail, testing our trail running abilities. So that falcon, the peregrine falcon, it has been clocked at speeds up to and in excess of 240 miles an hour. Guys, that's so fast. 240 miles an hour. They primarily feed actually on other seabirds. So sometimes they'll actually take them out in flight. One of those seabirds are the seagulls, these common seagulls that we see. We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, and relax. Those falcons will come down and literally take out a seagull in flight. Guys, check out this view. So the shale that I talked about before, the mud and the clay that's layered and then it's solidified, this is a situation where the shale has formed a shelf and the water has eroded those layers of shale out, so it creates this naturally occurring arch. Absolutely incredible. This is one of the most iconic views here of that southwest area of Portugal. So take that in, guys. If you look at the shale, you'll see layers of white. Sometimes these create web-like structures. This is either quartz or it's a rock called calcite. When I say either, I don't mean that I'm not sure. It's that it could be one or the other. So you find calcite, you also find quartz intertwined with shale. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go, back into our run. Calcite is a type of stone. Lots of different species, types of it. The reason it gets its name is actually because it has high concentrations of calcium. So that's where the name comes from. The black shale that we see here, the black type of shale specifically has high amounts of carbon. So we'll find other little veins and areas, an area right over here where the shale is more red. That means that it has higher amounts of iron in the soil. There's some areas where the shale is green because of chlorite. Other areas where we might even find gray shale or white shale. 5 more seconds, guys. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Back down to a walk. Whew. This feels great, guys. Just keep grinding along. 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Just focus on that one interval as we work our way up towards Cabo Sardão. So Cabo Sardão, I want to explain a little bit about the place that we're going to end up. Cabo, again, is Cape in Portuguese. It's also Cape in Spanish. This specific cape has a lighthouse that's built on it. Lighthouse, remember as we saw, is called Farol. Farol de Sardão. So the lighthouse of the Cape of Sardão. So this lighthouse specifically, for a long time it was built without a main access road to it. It was built in the early 1900s, so right around 1901 began construction. Guys, we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go, back into an easy run. The man that built this lighthouse, he actually created a mistake as he was laying things out. Typically, the actual lighthouse structure is the part that's closest to the sea, and then behind it is the area where the people will live, the other parts of the building. He actually, when they built this, he laid it out backwards and set up the buildings closest to the sea, and then the lighthouse is behind it. But by the time they realized it, it was actually too late, so they just continued construction how it was. So we'll be able to check that out. We'll see how that's laid out. An interesting story about that place. Let's work our way out here. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So because there wasn't a road that went out to that lighthouse, there was actually a courier that delivered the mail every other day with an expectation that he came 16 times a month. He would carry that mail on his back. It was a round trip journey of 20 kilometers. So you do the math. That's right around 6 miles there and 6 miles back. He would do that every day. $200 a month was the salary. He complained. He said that was too much work for too little money. So very shortly he got a raise, $300 a month, to make that trip back and forth. We got about 15 more seconds, guys. We're gonna go into our next run. So essentially doing exactly what we're doing right now, but carrying a huge pack of mail on his back. We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. And not only mail, but also supplies for the people that worked in that lighthouse. So that sounds, I don't know, some people cringe at the idea of that. I actually would love that type of opportunity, to be able to set up in a situation where I don't think of training as actual training, but just rather a component of my life. I've had a lot of different experiences where I've seen people in incredible shape, and typically it's by nature of their occupation or their lifestyle that they find themselves in that situation, rather than having to go out and in their minds force themselves to work out every day. So these experiences that I've had, I'll tell you more about them throughout this entire process that we have together. 3, 2, 1, back down to a walk. These experiences that I've had and the fitness that I've seen in people throughout the world, whether they were porters are essentially Sherpas, whether they were mailmen, people who picked up trash along the roads, running behind a truck for 30 or 40 kilometers a day, whether they were shepherds or what we would consider cowboys, working out on plains or in mountains. I've experienced times where I've been able to spend considerable amount of my life with these different types of people, and I found that they're in absolutely incredible shape by nature of this job. So this idea of being a porter, carrying in a courier, carrying in the mail and carrying in supplies to a place like this, I bet that guy wasn't stoked about having a salary of $300 a month, but I bet he was in incredible shape if we were to go and line up in a race with that guy. Okay guys, we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, here we go. Bom dia. So maybe back in the day, if he was able to supplement that income with some race winnings on the weekends, I bet it would have been a pretty good lifestyle at the time. The other benefits, that courier, that porter, I assume that if tests were done, his heart, his lungs, his blood, all of those other components that have to do with fitness and health were far in excess of other people at the time if they were working a more sedentary type life. So there are huge benefits that we get from being active. 3, 2, 1. You think about, if you were to put a price on a year or 5 years or 10 years or even 20 years, like what that price would be. People who get to the end of their life, they realize that they don't have much longer. They want to spend more time with the people that they love the most, experiencing these things that maybe they haven't had an opportunity to experience. If you think about the price that you could put on that, people would pay anything that they could to extend their life for a day, a week, a month, a year. And then we think about how honestly, like sometimes certain stages of our lives, we just squander it away because of inactivity, because of poor habits, because of poor lifestyle choices. And then we don't realize until the end that we would give anything to bring that back. So right now, this type of situation, this scenario, we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Bom dia. We're gonna try to really put that into perspective. Take advantage of this time while we can. There's literally, guys, it's never too late to work towards becoming what you've always wanted to become. So that's something that inspires me. The idea of something great, achieving something great, being able to have a life that's full of experiences, and that I'm able to experience it with full health and vitality. So being able to come out and visit places like this on foot, having a mind that understands it, I'm able to comprehend these types of things, providing a richer experience. Guys, that's literally what brings joy and satisfaction to my life. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Literally living one adventure to the next and having the fitness, the ability to experience these things on foot. That's serious motivation for me, you know? And so just to realize that in large part, we're in control of that. We have the ability to develop the skills, to develop the fitness, to develop the durability, to be able to experience these things. So maybe right now, this is the beginning of that journey. Maybe you've made that choice that this is something that you want to be able to do. Maybe there's a mountain that you want to climb or a race you want to complete. Maybe you just want to be able to continue to walk, to enjoy time with your family. All of that is related. And the cool thing is that the process is the same for all of this. Guys, an incredible view here. I don't mean to rush, but we're gonna go again in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. That process all starts the same, guys. Just a single day followed by another day. We stack those days together into weeks. This program, 6 entire weeks, where we're gonna be able to, at the end of it, be able to run for 30 minutes straight. This process, guys, it doesn't change though. So even after we finish this program, you continue to build on these same concepts and same principles that I'll outline, that I'll demonstrate, I'll try to explain throughout this process so that you can apply this to whatever goal you have going forward. Guys, we got 15 more seconds, and then we're gonna go down into a nice, easy walk to finish this thing up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, guys. First couple of minutes of this walk, this cool down walk, we're gonna use this to optimize this time that we have to work out. So keep that heart rate up, working those systems while we're working those structures. We're gonna come out, we're gonna take in another view, and then we're gonna work up towards the farol. Farol, again, is lighthouse. So Brazilian Portuguese, we don't really pronounce the L at the end. It's farol. Goes out into an O. If we were from Portugal, we would say farol. We would pronounce that L there at the end. Check out this view, guys. Check out those stratified layers, this rock like I talked about. Check out those veins of quartz and calcite that run vertically and horizontally, creating this web. Man, all of that with that blue water and the white waves. Seriously, some of the most incredible views. All right, we're gonna work our way up. Okay, so as this lighthouse comes into view, I want you guys to look at it. So you can see that the actual tower of the lighthouse is somewhat obstructed in view. Pay attention to that when we get close. This is because, like I said, when this was set up in the early 1900s, they started to build it and didn't realize that they were building the buildings in front of the tower. You know, I guess it's good to get focused on stuff like that. I mean, I put my head down, I get this microscopic view on stuff, and I'm able to sometimes accomplish things that I want to because I have my head down and I focus, but it's great every once in a while to just stand back, to take in an alternate perspective, to have a bird's eye view of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And a lot of times in situations like that, you're able to see these mistakes that you might be making. We're going to take a sharp right. We're actually going to come out here into this soccer stadium. I guess, I don't know, soccer stadium is a little bit of an exaggeration, but what we do see here is a soccer field. So throughout my upbringing, usually a soccer field, when I would see it, it was nice, groomed grass. It was comfortable. It was soft. Every time I've experienced cultures where soccer is actually a dominant force, that country is has an incredible history of soccer. What I've found is that the fields are built literally wherever they can. I don't know if you can notice this, but we're actually on a huge slant. So when halftime takes place, whoever has the downhill advantage literally has a huge advantage. Not only is it downhill, but there's typically onshore winds. And so they have the wind to their back and they have gravity on their side. Halftime happens, and then you literally have to fight against the wind to work your way up into those hills. Some people, you know, they might say this isn't ideal situations, but literally using what you have at your disposal, becoming resourceful, trying to carry out whatever it is, whatever that goal is, independent of some of the obstacles. I've found that if you're hell-bent, like your determination is absolutely solid, you can figure out a way to do that. This is definitely an example. Portugal has been a powerhouse, as well as Spain, and typically one of the things that connects these cultures between these original colonizing countries, Portugal and Spain, and then the rest of Latin America, one of the things that flows through these people's blood is soccer, football. In Brazilian Portuguese, they call it futebol. All right, guys, we're gonna work our way up to here, taking the views of this lighthouse. We had to come all the way around to the back so that we could get an unobstructed view. Cabo do Farol Sardão. Here we go, guys. All right, guys, great job. Made it all the way to the end. Want you to take in a couple of deep breaths, just really reflect on the things that we've done. Take advantage of the opportunities that we have to recover now. So fluids, make sure you get in calories, carbs, protein, and rest. We're gonna come back within the next day, so take advantage of these 24 hours that we have to recover. Good sleep, we'll come back, we'll do this all again. Guys, I'm your trainer, Tommy Rivs, coming at you from Portugal. I'll see you soon.